Alright, so I've had a number of people ask me what's the difference between the coolant temp and the block temperature, which I've got here, and the relationship when driving. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a bit of a drive. There's an uphill coming up, so I'll be able to show you the differences under load. And then after the hill we've got a nice little kind of slight downhill run, which I'll be off the throttle quite a bit, so you'll be able to see the differences when it's not under load. So at the moment I've got here 79.9, 80 degrees Celsius as the block temperature and 89.2 as the coolant. So just bearing in mind this is the coolant, that's the EGT, and that over here is the block temperature. I'm not sure if you can see that, it's actually quite dull, but at any rate I'll try to keep my head as still as possible so you'll be able to see these. So I'm in fourth gear at the moment. This is an 80 km/h zone here. This road is the southern outlet, just out of Hobart, or in Hobart going towards Kingston. So those of you who are local will know what this road is and how it's quite steep. So currently running at a block temperature of 78 degrees, 91.3 for the coolant temperature. We're in fourth gear. Still on 80 kilometres an hour. You can see the EGT starting to rise, 611. Block temperature is 80.1. .6 block temperature, 83, okay, we're on the crest of the hill now. There'll be a point coming up where it's 100 km/h, but as I said, I'll be coasting it down that way. Here we go. And you can tell when I'm not on the throttle anyway. Have a look at the EGTs. So interesting now is that the block temperature is 83 coming down, but the coolant has dropped to 90. So this is where I say the fluctuation happens, where the coolant temperature is around 10 degrees hotter, but it varies, going uphill or downhill, etc. Thermostat on these, I believe, is 88 degrees when they start to open. What I have found really is that because I've got the two gauges, one for coolant and one for block temperature, you can start to really monitor and see the differences in behaviour or temperature, I suppose, depending on the load, if you're towing or going up hills or down hills, etc. But what I've found is that the coolant temperature remains fairly steady in terms of, you know, between 88 to 92, around there, whilst the block temperature can drop 5, 6, 7 degrees easily. And I don't know whether or not that's the nature of that type of sensor, or whether because the sensor is in the wrong position on the block, although I suspect that's not the case. But at any rate, it gives you a good indication on the behaviour. See, now the block temperature is now down to 77.5, roughly. So it's actually dropped quite a bit in terms of degrees. Whilst with the coolant, we've only dropped about 3 degrees. Anyway, I hope that's giving you some indication of the difference between the block temp sensor and the coolant temp sensor. I think either one is very good to have. I don't consider really one better than the other. It's just, as I said, it's just the way that they measure temperature and so on is which is preferable to you. Of course, I've got both, so I suppose I'm a little bit lucky in that sense that I've got one to pick from. Anyway, if you have any more questions about this, happy to answer your questions. Just either email me or post on the comment section, and yeah, let me know if there's anything you need to know. Cheers.